Alright.
Are we actually going?
Yeah, I guess.
What's up, booze?
Worst intro music ever.
Yeah.
So what are we reviewing today?
What are we... Today we are reviewing a little game I like to call Mirror's Edge.
And that was the awful intro music for that little game.
Yeah. So today we're reviewing Mirror's Edge, like I said, by Electronic Arts and DICE. So Bardiya, let's get your impressions, initial impressions.
Well, this game, when the demo came out, I liked it. Like I played a lot, but I'm not buying this game single player time trial. I'll rent it. I'll check it out like that. And I got it off GooseX, which you get it and then you can send it back, kind of like a Netflix type of thing, point system. So short game, but I think it's the type of game that's benefits from being short. You don't want it to be any longer because the gameplay can get repetitive, and I really enjoyed it for the small, like I would say about 6 to 8 hours long, perfect amount for that type of gameplay.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the game throughout.
I actually agree. I think it's actually one of those games that probably benefits from being shorter because it starts out really interesting. It reminds me of kind of like how Assassin's Creed was for me, where you kind of start out and it's really cool, like you can move around, but by like the end of the game, you're just like halfway through the game, you're like, this is kind of getting boring and repetitive, and you just kind of want it to end. And the same thing with Mirror's Edge, it kind of starts getting bland and just like, it feels more like a chore trying to finish the game than actually. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's fun. I would recommend someone to play. I wouldn't recommend buying it. I would say try renting it or borrowing it from a friend. But
I would agree, except I never had that feeling of, oh, I hope this ends soon. Like I thought it was like perfect amount, like the length.
Yeah, I think it was maybe that I had like a 3-day window to beat the game.
Yeah, it's probably like you had to play like over like that. But
yeah.
I didn't have that. I beat it in like 4 or 5 days myself. But I thought the gameplay, like, it was fresh. And one thing I really liked and didn't expect, and that you can't really tell in the demo, is like when I played the demo, I'm like, alright, this game you're just jumping from rooftop to rooftop during the day. But when you play the actual game, like, I like the use of colors. Like, it's very strong. Like, you go in a building, it's all green. You go in a building, it's all blue, and it's not all rooftop. You go inside, outside. There's a level in the pipes. There's levels in the night, and those were ways to keep it fresh. And also as far as what you have to do, like as far as jumping back and finding your way to places, I didn't find it that repetitive. Like
no, it wasn't repetitive. I mean, I just felt I was getting kind of bored of it. Yeah,
the one thing I think that adds to that, I don't know if that's the way you feel that way, is the story, which sucks.
Oh, the story was horrible.
Donkey balls.
Oh, God.
That was
half the time I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like running in any direction, and then either I die or it was the right way.
Spoilers! One of the guys in the game. Spoilers. One of the guys died, but I didn't care. Like, I'm like, oh, he's dead. All right.
Yeah, it was just.
Like, look, you probably don't even remember who died because.
It was I do, but it was extremely predictable. Like I pretty much knew what was gonna happen by the first level, like how it was gonna play out. You know, it was just.
Yeah, and the end is kind of
climactic. Sound it out.
Climatic. Chores.
Yeah, it was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I don't remember the final boss fight. Oh yeah, I remember what you did. It's kind of dumb.
I know
there's no real bosses. I mean,
it's not a boss, but
kind of lame.
I was expecting like the final level to be more epic-ish.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the one thing the game does well, like when you know what you're doing, and you know where you're going, and you like put together like a string combo of like jumping, wall running, and kicking a guy in the face and all that stuff. Like, and you do that for like a minute or two, like non-stop without like missing anything. You really feel like a badass. I was feeling like Batman at times, or Spider-Man. Yeah, like I'm like, dang, this is sick. And then I think the other thing it does well is it's not frustrating when you don't know what to do. I mean, I didn't find it frustrating.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to figure out stuff. There was a couple like maybe little puzzles. I guess you could say on a couple like in the boat. I remember there was this one section where I was just like, I couldn't figure out what to do. It seemed so weird. I guess I don't know, but I kind of knew what to do, and eventually I had to do the same thing like over 10 times, and finally I got it to work. I don't even know if I did it the right way because it seemed so awkward and weird. But I don't know. Some points it just seemed like it makes sense that she should be able to grab this bar that's there, but for some reason she's not grabbing it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like it. Sometimes the game's just like.
And that's problems with the controls. Like
for the most part, you don't have that problem. But I mean, it was the same way kind of in Assassin's Creed where you expect him to do something and he doesn't do it, or you know.
Yeah, for what the game does and all the gameplay that you like, the button presses you have to do is really simple. Like it was the LB and the left shoulder on the 360. Like you jump and you duck. Yeah. It's very simple, but then on some of the more advanced moves, it can get very frustrating. Like as far as you know what you have to do, like you said, but it just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So.
But it is. I mean, it is one of those kind of games where the controls don't seem to make sense at first.
But when you play, you're not even looking at the controller.
Yeah. But sometimes you do weird things, like you mean to press like hit and you'd be pressing like B or something. Like I kept doing that, and it would mess me up. But controls are pretty easy to pick up, and by the end of the first level, you pretty much got it down. Like you said, the artistic style was very interesting. It was a nice game to look at. It was
graphics, beautiful.
Music wise.
Don't give a fuck.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it was a little kind of like girly or whatever. But I think kind of like as you're playing the levels, like there's some pretty like sort of interesting ambient music in the background. Kind of sets the tone. Like I think it fits this artistic style of the game.
Yeah, I can see like lots of people praise the music, and like I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's just not my cup of tea.
What is your cup of tea?
Wu-Tang. Anyways, as far as replay value for the game, pretty much all you got is time trial and speed runs. I played around with it a little bit. It was cool. Like I actually got into the time trials a little bit, and I tried I'm like, okay, I'm gonna beat all the initial ones, but then they get frustratingly hard, and I just gave up.
I only had time to check out the first level, like the very first time trial that you can do, basically the easiest one. And it's kind of interesting. It's kind of addicting. You just keep going and going. And over time, you figure out like there's shortcuts and different things you can do to shave off like 10 seconds out of your time. Over time you just memorize the level really well.
So oh, there you go.
Why am I always bright?
Sorry. I was listening.
But yeah, time trials are pretty interesting. It's one of those. It adds a little bit more depth to the game and
if you like
ability, but.
If you're a completionist and you like this game, you're going to be the type of guy that's going to want to beat the speed runs for the levels and the time trials.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to the rating.
What would I rate this game? How are we going to do ratings? Just out of 10? Like we do decimals? I'm going to do decimals. I would give this a 7.6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't know if it's a flat C. It's a fresh game. It's very kind of innovative, but story-wise, it's horrible. There's not a lot of replayability outside of the time trials, and to be honest, I just kind of got bored with it halfway through. Would I play a Mirror's Edge 2, which I'm sure they'll probably make? Yeah, I would check it out. I wouldn't buy it, but I would certainly play it.
Yeah, I don't fucks with decimals. Definite 8 out of 10.
You don't fuck with that shit? That's cool.
8 out of 10, but most people don't buy this game, just rent it. And Blockbuster doesn't actually rent it, and supposedly it's because EA doesn't know this game is like a easy renter's game. Find a way to rent it, buy it used from GameStop, beat it in a week and return it.
You all you need is a week. If you
less than a week. I beat it in 4 days. You beat it in 3 days.
Yeah,
and it was better
I would play maybe an hour or two a day. It's not doesn't take a long time unless you kind of suck at this game. You will beat it if you're a good gamer, you'll beat it pretty quickly. So we're almost out of time, so we got to bounce. So this is our review of Mirror's Edge. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned once we play new games. Maybe recommend some games for us to check out. But yeah.
Peace.
Wu-Tang.